Thank you so much, Vidushi. Thanks for having me here. I'll be talking about mainly international fellowship, not so much of career because career follows fellowship. So, why do we need an international fellowship? When do we need it? When do we do it? What kind of fellowship that we choose, where to go, and how to go about it is how I would approach this. Why do we need an international fellowship? If you already have a good residency here in India and have a good fellowship training, do we still need to go out and train? I would say yes, because if possible, yes, because it broadens your horizon. You know exactly what is done in India, maybe in the best of places, but there is a different way of skinning the cat or doing the same thing when you go out and see. There are 100 different ways of doing the same thing, and maybe some of these might help you get better results or optimize your speed of surgery or optimize your outcome or make your patients more happy. So it widens your perspective. It also stimulates you to think different and do different. Your mentors have done it in a particular way because they have done that through their experience over the years, but other people may be doing the same thing in a much different way, and it also helps you find a focus area. That's because everybody has to have a focus. Diffuseness, I believe, is a disease. If you're a subspecialist, you need to stand out from the crowd, and that will help you get a focus area. Such as everybody is a retina specialist, of course, but very few people concentrate on pediatric retina, and very few people concentrate on ROP or FEVR. So if you want to focus on a particular aspect, say I want to do ROP surgery for that matter, you have to have that focus, then obviously that will build your referral practice. You also understand different work cultures and provides cutting-edge knowledge. Specifically, if you do international fellowship in a center where knowledge is produced, generally in India, knowledge is practiced. There are very few institutes in India or hospitals in India where knowledge is produced. So you're not at the rising curve of knowledge when you are trained in India, but when you do it in an international center where the best of knowledge is produced, where equipments are under trial, drugs are under trial, where new surgical techniques are being discussed and thought of, then you will be at the rising edge of the learning curve. That technology, once it matures, you can bring over to your own country and start using it. Most importantly, I believe you find mentors for life. This is very important. Because if you want to have a course at the academy, you need a mentor. You can't just barge into the door. Those can be very tightly shut. So you have some lubrication in the form of your mentor to get in and step in. And once you establish yourself, they won't stop you. But initially, you will need a mentor for everything. Even when you send your first manuscript to ophthalmology, if you don't have a very respectable author, they might not even review your paper. So it all goes by your credentials or your pedigree, as they call it. So when to do it? I would say that the best time to do a clinical fellowship is after doing a clinical fellowship in India. But if you want to do a research fellowship as a stepping stone to your USMLE, then you can do after your residency. But if you want to do a clinical fellowship, definitely you should have a clinical fellowship in India so that it becomes an extension of what you have learned. There are several of us who would go after working for a few years. Like in my case, I worked for 4 or 5 years at LBP, after which I realized that there is a need for ocular oncology. I was not trained enough in doing tumors, although I had a 3-year senior residency at RP Center. I thought I still had a need to get trained in, say, brachytherapy for that matter and advanced management of ocular tumors. So I did a fellowship. After completing fellowship, 4 years of work as a consultant, I went for a fellowship again. So that is possible as a focus training. That's called second side. You can also do a mid-career makeover. Suppose you want to switch from general ophthalmology to, say, medical retina, and you want to train at the best center, you can go. Any time could be the right time depending on your situation. Now, what are the types? You can go as an observer where you can observe a particular center for 1 week to 4 weeks, or even 6 weeks or 3 months. Here it is only observation in the outpatient clinic and in the OR. You're not allowed to touch patients. You're just asked to stand behind in the room and observe what they're doing. You can't touch patients or you can't ask history, nothing. But it provides a good overview. You are observing very carefully what they're doing and you know exactly what they're doing. And if you are interested in a long-term fellowship in that particular institute, it provides a dipstick test. That means that you know exactly what they do, how they deal with their fellows, how is the working environment, would you fit in into such an working environment. Some departments may work 16 hours a day. You may not want to work so hard. Some departments may finish work in 4 hours. You may not want to be so poorly occupied. So all these are the factors that you want to bring in. So if you want to consider long-term fellowship, you might want to visit that particular department on a simple tourist visa, and whenever you go for an international conference and look what they do. Short-term fellowship will give you a certificate, but it is just an extended or glorified observation in the OPD and ward. Here some institutes allow you to examine patients. After they have examined, they will introduce you to the patient, and if the patient permits it, generally they do, you can examine the patient. These are relatively easy to get. Most of the ICO fellowships are 3-month fellowships, but can be stretched to 6 months with the $6,000 that you get. These are observational fellowships. You don't get any hands-on during this time. If you're very good, they might ask you to scrub up and assess, but generally no hands-on. And it doesn't require a long-term visa. In US, you can do a short-term fellowship with a B1, B2 visa. So you are good to go if you have a tourist visa. It can be done anytime. Whereas for long-term clinical fellowship, if you have USMLE, then you are as competitive as your US colleague. That means that whatever your US colleague does as a clinical fellow, you are allowed to do without having to go through residency in the US, but you have to come back to India to practice. You cannot practice in the US without a residency or a board certification. But fortunately, in 2 big states, California and Pennsylvania, USMLE can be exempted depending on your mentor. If your mentor accepts you and writes a letter that you are trained enough to have an exemption from USMLE, for that particular year you are exempt from USMLE and do a very good clinical fellowship, which was so in my case. So it can be done post MDMS and FRCS, and as I said, it is best done post fellowship because clinical fellows are expected to open and close all the surgeries. They are supposed to do parts of each of the surgeries. Generally, busy wards are run 2 or 3 wards at a time, simultaneously run. So the consultants are running from one ward to another to finish the list, and the fellow is the one who actually begins and ends the case and does some parts of the middle in most of the cases. So you're expected to do surgical work from day 1 onwards, so you better have a good exposure of clinical fellowship in India, and they expect that. In fact, in UK, Moorfields, one of my fellows recently got, and she was asked, can you do entropion, ectropion, and DCR and DCT? When she said yes, and how many have you done? She was immediately taken in because that is what she is expected to do there, because they don't want to do these routine surgeries and they want their hands and time freed up for these routine surgeries. So you have to have experience. And you have to have a strong CV and recommendation. Strong CV would mean at least 3 or 4 good publications in that particular field, in a peer-reviewed journal, not DOS journal, which is good, okay, but then you have to have an internationally recognized PubMed indexed journal, good journal. These are highly competitive, so you need a good recommendation. Recommendation would be from your mentors who know them. So you have not the Indian kind of recommendation. Call up and say that I know this guy, take him in. It's not that. It's a honest evaluation of your performance, which will go to them. That's called the recommendation letter. Excellent exposure, it's a paid fellowship, and you can actually get into residency. It's a very good route because you would have known them and then they would give you recommendation letters for residency. So if you want to stay back in the US, you can do a pre-residency clinical fellowship and do residency. That's a very good option. There are several specialties where you can get in, but the easiest ones are these. Pediatric ophthalmology and strabismus, neuro-ophthalmology and ophthalmic pathology are very easy to get in, very non-competitive. Rest of them are a little difficult to get in, but they can still be managed. UV and immunology has also become quite easy now. Glaucoma has become quite easy. In fact, glaucoma research, almost 100% chance of acceptance currently. And oculoplastic surgery is quite difficult. Ocular oncology is quite easy. Cataract and refractive, you generally have a lot of competition from international fellows. So I would say, if you have any interest in the areas which are easy, then it's easy to get in. Then how do you know about research fellowship? Research fellowships are also possible. If you go to our website, you get a lot of information on research fellowship. This is of course dated material, 2011, but what it shows is that, Arvo has a website where they would list all the positions that are available. So if you browse through it and apply it, you have a very good chance of getting into a research fellowship. I'll show you one more example. Arvo has advertised this particular fellowship. So we stick on dry eye fellowship. There's a dry eye fellowship, but you know everything that is related to oculus in terms of investigation, and maybe when you come back, you develop interest in managing dry eyes. So these are focused research fellowships which you can get into if you are interested in that particular field or want to use it as a stepping stone to do many more things in life. Alright, international fellowship, where to do? Reputation is a consideration, academics, how much hands-on do you get, financial aid, and the intended focus area are the considerations. US is a very good place to go, UK is the next best choice, Australia, Canada and rest of the countries are not too favorite in terms of the order of preference. How do you get to know? Advertisements in journals and online, direct application, you can directly have contact with your mentor in a conference and apply, or organized fellowships such as ISU. Am I done or can I take 2 more minutes? Okay. SF Match is a very good source for, I don't know why. My hyperlinks don't seem to be working. If you rush for time, I can stop here because I said most of the thing.
No, we have.
We have.
We only have one more talk after this. We only have one more talk after this.
Okay.
I'm sure this is very informative for everyone. So.
वीडियो के हाइपरलिंक है खोल दिया
I think these small observerships and fellowships that are available, they are quite underexplored even now because spending 1 month, 2 months, it may not give you hands-on training, but it gives you a lot of overview and it really increases your confidence a lot because you have seen what is happening in the test center. And these small fellowships are quite easy to get. You just have to go on a tourist visa. So you have to spend a little bit of money, but I think in the overall career, this thing it is worth it to get that exposure.
Sorry for the problem. Just wanted to show you SF Match because SF Match is a very good source for fellowship positions that are left out after matching. So what they do is they advertise this kind of situations that are available in various fellowship positions. You can see that this particular fellowship program is advertised for cornea external disease, which are immediately available. So if you're ready to go and you don't have visa issues, if you're in the US, these are left out positions following all the US applicants are matched. So these are very, very non-competitive because they're readily available. It's almost like first come, first serve. Like if you are the first one to reach them after they've advertised it, there's a very good chance that you'll get it. You can see so many fellowship positions available in this particular year just after the matching has been performed. And this is so year after year. It is not just an example of situation, but every year you would have similar options. UK, you have very good situation because it's an ethnic Indian population which is quite prevalent in the United Kingdom with similar teaching methods that we are experienced in. US is different. UK is almost similar to what the professorial system that we have in India. Just 8 to 10 hours away, food is never a problem. In Australia and New Zealand, you can go to this particular website of Royal Australian and New Zealand College of Ophthalmology, and you get all the fellowship positions that are available. Australia has become quite easy to get for well-trained Indian fellows, and these are fortunately paid fellowship programs. You get a lot of money when you do fellowship in Australia, almost like 35 to 40, $50,000, I believe, and which is much more than sufficient for you to live and live well. In Singapore, you have two sources. One is Singapore National Eye Center, which also advertises its fellowship. It has fellowship programs in almost all the specialties, as you see. Not very competitive for Indians, but they expect you to have FRCS degree. If you have it, then you are preferred. If you don't have it, still you have a chance. National University of Singapore also has similar programs. One which is popular in India is the Retina Fellowship, and also the Oculoplasty Fellowship with Gangadhar Sundar, which is quite popular, and is keen on taking Indian fellows in some of his fellowship slots. So we have really good chances of getting into that. In Canada, we have two sources. One is University of British Columbia. You can all browse through these websites. I'm just showing these as examples, where almost all the fellowships are available. Canada also has the advantage is that these are paid fellowships, and so is University of Toronto. In fact, the people I know who have done fellowship at University of Toronto are very happy because they get a lot of hands-on surgical experience. Srinivas Joshi is one example who did from University of Toronto very recently. He's from India, his Retina Fellowship was from India. He did too many surgeries there under observation and under supervision, so and paid very well. So Canada has become an attractive option for most of the Indians at this point in time. Right. So the next.
Can we summarize, I think?
Yeah. So the only thing that is left for me to say is ICO fellowship. ICO fellowship is available, or information is available on the ICO website, where there are two options. One is 3-month fellowship, which is easy to get if you have passed ICO step 1 and step 2. And full-term 1-year fellowship is also easy to get if you are going to come back to India and work in India in an underprivileged situation for about 3 years. SAC fellowship is also available in ICO. You can go through the ICO website. So I would conclude here saying that international fellowship is not at all difficult. Sometimes it may be easier than getting into a fellowship in a good institute in India, but you have to make sure that you are interested in a particular field and approach it in a systematic way, well planned at least a year in advance to get into the position of your choice. Thank you so much.